Whoa, now what's up with the YouTube? This is TK with Cuts by Kelly. I don't have my stand for my camera, so I'm holding it. And you can see I'm working on this video right here. This is the video that you are about to see. I hope you like it. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, leave a comment below if you have any questions about what I'm doing or what I'm using or anything that I can help you with. I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. Let's get into the video. Yeah. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is set my ball line on all sides. I'm doing it in the front, the two sides and in the back. And then I'm going to get ready to knock out the weight so I can do the fade. Now that we have everything set, we can start debulking. Here I go knocking out the weight with a number 2 guard. Then I'm gonna do a number 1 guard. I'm going with the grain so I can keep the shape of the hair. I don't want to mess up the contour of the hair. I want the shape to stay the same, and so sometimes when you go against the grain, you tend to cut off too much and then you have to reshape it. So going with the grain when you have a lot of hair, it helps to control that. Now that I knocked out all the weight or most of it, I'm setting my top guideline for my fade, and you can see I'm using the corner of my clippers like I say all the time. I don't want to set this top guideline real heavy because it's going to make it harder to blend out. So I'm setting the top guideline with the corner so it could be a faint line. I know where it's at, and when you're cutting, you should know where it's at too. So if you can't see it right now, that just means that your eyes just have to develop. But just give it time and you'll actually understand it as you grow. Okay, all that's set. Now I'm setting my middle line now. So I'm gonna have my ball line at the bottom. It's down there. I know you probably can't see it too good because this hair is kind of fine, but it's down there, and now I'm starting to fade that out. I'm gonna fade one side first and then I'll fade the other side, and the reason why I'm doing that is so I don't get all in the camera to catch that other side. So I'm going close quarter, here's 3/4, and we already have the open line, and I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. Now we're going to put on our 1/16 guard, and then we're going to put that close, and we're starting from that line right there, and we're going to work our way up. Close quarter, 3/4, open. Now when you start getting to open with your 1/16 guard, you really want to use your corners. Sometimes at the bottom you'll catch me using my whole blade, but when I start getting to the top of it, I'm definitely using my corner because I do not want to make a hard line up there where I have to get out, just like because at the beginning we work to keep it from having a hard line at the top. So we don't want to go back and put a hard line in. Now we're at the top of the fade, and we just want to connect what we started at the top to that bottom. So like I said, this is why we're using our corners to get it together. If we're using our corners with the 1/16 and nothing is happening, then you can put back on your 1/8 guard and use the corners of that. You can do it all the way open. If you feel like nothing's happening, then you can start closing your clipper until you get what you're looking for. I always say go open first, because you don't want to go close and then knock off too much hair. If you go open, then you keep yourself in a safe place, to where you just take off a little bit of hair and gradually take off more if you need to. So you see we're going through our fading steps on this side of the head, and it's still the same thing. Close quarter, 3/4 open. We did it with no guard first, then we put on our 1/16 guard, and right now I have my 1/8, and I'm just trying to connect it. Like I said, it's all the way open. You see I'm using the corners real heavy, really like the side of the clipper, just so I could connect them again. This is my first time cutting this guy's hair. You're gonna hear that a lot from me right now. Obviously, I'm in a new state, so I'm cutting people for the first time a lot. So when you don't know the person's hair, you're unfamiliar with what they like, you just want to be safe. You don't want to go too aggressive, cut too much off, and then mess up the whole haircut, mess up your chance for getting a lifetime client, or you know how people do sometimes. They come to get their haircut so they could tell someone else if it's a good spot. So you don't want to mess all that up. So you just want to make sure you're doing everything as safe as possible until you get used to the client. Then you get your confidence with them, and then you know exactly what to do and what they like. Here we go on the side, and we're going to repeat that process almost to a T that we did in the back. We have our number 2 open against the grain, then we're going to go with our number 1 open against the grain to knock out the weight. Then we could set our middle line with all the way open, no guard, and then we start our fading steps. Now, one thing about his hair I noticed, you can see I'm going with the grain right now, and it's going towards the back. That's how his hair grows. So I just have to follow that pattern. And then when you see me fading it out, I'll be going against the grain, so I have to go towards the front like that, and to get the hair out. Because when I was just going straight up against it, it was not coming out. So you'll see me combing backwards and fading towards the front. That's because his hair grows that way. One thing I want to point out, when the hair is like this and it's growing in these directions, you don't panic. All you have to do is comb in the direction that it grows and fade the opposite way. The steps don't change, the process doesn't change, it's the same process, it's just in the opposite direction. And usually you deal with this when you're doing a ball fade, a mid fade or something like that, in the back of the hair where the swirl is. In order to get that ball blended into the dark top, you'll have to go to the side because the swirl changes directions. So it's still the same fade, the same process. All you have to do is change the directions. So let's recap what I did on this fade on this side. I did a number 2 against the grain. I did a number 1 against the grain, and both of them was all the way open. After that, I set my midline with all the way open, no guard, and then I started to blend it out. When you set your midline, you can put on your 0 guard, your 1/16 guard, and start blending from the middle to the top. And then I typically take my guard off after that and then blend the bottom to the middle. So right now, I did those steps already, and now I'm just doing my spot check. I'm going through checking for any dark spots, anything that I can get out, and I try to get as much as I can out. When I'm doing my spot check, I typically do most of my spot check with no guard all the way open or my 1/16 guard all the way open. That usually gets most of my spots out. And you see I go aggressive on the corner on the side of the clipper, or I just use the corners of my clippers. So you can see this pretty much is the fade. I did the spot checks, I did my fade, and this is where I'm at. And it looks pretty good to me. Now I already faded out the other side, so I just wanted to show you some of the detail work that I'm doing. For this haircut, we're not cutting anything off the top, but in order to get a nice clean look and a nice clean lineup, we want to get the hair off the sides and off the edges. So that's what I'm going to do all around the head. Okay, a few things I do for my lineup. I comb the hair down so he has hair that overlaps his lining. And I do that on purpose so I can cut it off, and once he lays down or he touches hair, no hair comes over the lining. The lining can stay fresh for longer. Another thing I do is hit it with some holding spray. When I lay the hair down, I hit it with some holding spray and dry it, just to keep it in place and make it easier to line up. Here's a pointer for doing your lining in the front. You can start from the middle and work your way on. Do one side first and then the other side. I typically start on the side that has the most hair. If you can see on his right side of the lining, looking at it right now, it's not as much hair on that left side that I'm lining up right now. And so I'm doing the left side because it has more hair there, and I'm gonna try to match the right side to the left. Even though I don't see as much hair, I'm still gonna take the same direction as I did on the left side, just to accomplish a straight and an even look. We're getting to the end of this video, so make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell if you're still here and you like the content that I'm putting out, and if you like this haircut. Leave a comment if you have any question or concern about the things that I'm using or the process that I do. But I want y'all to see this before again, just so you can see the difference in this after. Yeah, I like it. I hope you like it. I know he loved it. And so yeah, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell. And this is TK with Cuts by Kelly, and I appreciate you.